News Panorama is a TV news magazine program that gives you the story behind the story.
It tells the stories the way they should be told by capturing the larger scale.
It deals with people's deep feelings on issues that, when brought to the fore, ultimately educates, informs, and entertains.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
This week, we will be x-raying government activities, what has been done and what is yet to be done. Rainstorm and fuel hike in the country, especially Cross River States. Thanks for being a part of the show. I am Josephine Efanga.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
If you have just tuned in, you are watching News Panorama. Cross Riverians were enthralled as they witnessed the inauguration of Senator Prince Bassey II as governor of Cross River State. Governor II was alongside inaugurated with his deputy, Honorable Peter Odey, at the UJ Stadium, signaling the beginning of a new dawn. Ruth Marcus was there.
Since 1999, which power was handed over to the Democratic government, Senator Prince Bassey II has emerged as the fourth governor of Cross River State. This inauguration was held at the UJ Stadium on May 29, 2023, which Senator Prince Bassey II, the governor, and his deputy Right Honorable Peter Odey were sworn into office. In his inaugural speech, Senator Prince Bassey II thanked the good people of Cross River State for the mandate given to him and his deputy, further adding that he would not have been where he is today if not for the massive support of the people. He further pledged his support to work for the good of all.
For standing firmly to uphold the principle of fairness, equity, and justice, by doing all within his power to ensure that we do not jettison our retention policy, as this would have eroded the bonds of our trust and love for one another. We will curb gender-based violence and institutionalize Cross River as the cleanest, greenest, and safest in our country. The state will be given an immediate facelift through critical infrastructure repairs, clearing of waterways, trimming of overgrown trees, repainting, and refuse evacuation.
The outgoing governor, Senator Ben Ayade, in his valedictory speech, appreciated the state for the immense support throughout his stay in office, further advising the state to replicate their support to the new government.
For the first time, God is raising a child of the very poor and humble to bring him to this aristocracy of being a governor of Cross River State. You can't do the same thing all the same time and expect a change. So I came with a Kabbalistic justification to kinetically crystallize the state in order to bring you peace.
Professor
So there we have a challenge. The social oligomegaly that we face, because over time, power has become an aristocratic thing, limited to only those who have money, who have belonged to that connect team, and deconstructed those barriers, and built the boundary theory, and created an escape velocity for young people.
In a brief sermon by Bishop M.I. Song, he appreciated the outgoing government and advised the incoming government to always seek the face of God while praying for God's blessing on the new government.
This is the experience of the people of God coming from the land of Egypt to the land of promise, so to say, a period of transition. And here you are, God gave them a leader in Moses. And this is what I want to say. We may go into elections, win elections, select our leaders, but until we corporately, unitedly, consciously, intentionally stand by those leaders,
Others, in separate interviews, expressed their gratitude towards the efforts of the outgoing government and pledged their allegiance to support the new government.
We'll see how perseverance took out the support and support. Our expectations regarding his performance are high, and I have no doubt in my mind showing the wealth of his experience in politics within the banking sector, the private sector, as an administrator. We will meet our expectations very squarely. I expect that.
The new governor cannot do anything without God. He's a pastor, a God-fearing gentleman. He likes his people, he loves them, and they love him. So we are expecting him to be directed by God's ordinance.
He's just a little patient. And secondly, is to pray for him. And third is to encourage them to give all they have to bring out their real self, their natural self, so that support will be total from beginning to end.
High points of the event was police parade by the new government. For CRBC News Panorama, I am Ruth Marcus.
Continuity in government is intended to preserve essential function and the statutory and constitutional authority of all levels of government across the nation. The big question is, will the Senator Bassey Edet-led administration act differently, or will it be a case of business as usual? Blessing Bassey brings the story.
There is no doubt that the immediate past state governor, Senator Bekwarra, is leaving behind a big shoe for his successor, Prince Bassey II, who is the new governor, as he has been able to raise the bar of governance in the state with policies and programs that have reset the state on the path of progress. Research has it that every day, individuals, organizations, communities, and government provide critical services and perform essential functions upon which citizens depend. Continuity ensures that the whole community has a plan for sustaining these services and functions when routine operations are disrupted. The state APC Publicity Secretary, while commenting on the transition, Mr. Rasmus Sekpan asserted that there are obvious similarities in the visions of the state governor, Senator Bassey II, which is to build a prosperous Cross River state where substantial socio-economic and more infrastructure development are consistently upscaled for Greater Cross River. He disclosed that the season of sweetness agenda of Senator II-led administration flows desire to build on the enviable legacy of the immediate past state governor Bekwarra to introduce new economic reforms that will ultimately take Cross River to the next level. This will be done by ensuring meaningful development opportunities for all Cross Riverians, reform realistic and enhance peace and security.
Our internal roads within Calabar municipality, if in the first 100 days we can actually achieve sealing the potholes, because with the rainy season a lot of potholes have come up. If Senator Prince Bassey II could do that potholes issues, and then if we can actually contract dustbin, the waste to wards. Those days we have these wards. You just contract the waste carriage to some particular wards and persons. so that it looks like you're actually working in your area to make sure your area is clean. So if we can achieve those two things, it's okay. You know, the Cross River State government with its very lean resources does not tax for waste, unlike other states where people actually pay revenue for their waste to be carried. The Cross River State manages very lean resources to carry that. So at some point it got cumbersome for us. But I think if you could tackle that, then for health too, we have the Yadeke doing well, where every household is supposed to, you know, drop a token of 1,000 naira monthly.
Some people spoke with said the state governor senator too needs to keep up the tempo of achievements, recorded infrastructure and social amenities across the state. They hinted that it is expected that he applies some level of diplomacy if he must succeed with some of Ayade's policies.
Please, Prince Otu should just do his own thing differently from Ayade. I voted Prince Otu. I didn't vote him because of the party. I voted him because he was a different person. So I'm not voting because of the party. I'm voting because I want a change in the state. So I don't know if they are going to do something better. They should do for us. Going to help us. But
tell me, Prince Otu should continue from where they are big stuff. Understand? Development, rural development. They should just develop the area. Calabar looks like scattered. Understand? Look at our stadium now. Look at everywhere. I think last week there was a dustbin there for like how many days? For days. Imagine in front of Ijibor dustbin. So you should just come and develop everywhere. Calabar is just a tourist center. Understand? Where we welcome people and the rest. So that's what I want him to be finished.
Stop being influenced and used by these politicians to gain their selfish interests. They are buying good houses in Los Angeles and you're here suffering. You don't even have a bike, nothing, you don't get anything.
You can't be proud of it.
You cannot be proud of anything. You suffer. These people, kids are outside living life, eating large, and you'll be here shouting during the election period, walking all around with machetes. Please use your head.
And then finally, please, you should create more jobs for the youth. You should create more jobs. I beg. And the tax is too much. The company tax. See most companies, most food eateries here, they are run because of the tax.
I think Ayade is Ayade. And Prince is Prince. Everybody has his own, what do I use? His own agenda. You understand? So Prince might come up with something better than what Ayade did. I mean, I think that is what I can say for now. My advice to youth is when they have, if any youth maybe eventually have such an opportunity, every youth should do what he knows is good for the state.
Prince Otu, the new governor, is going to do well in Cross River here. I've been seeing lately that they started cleaning and painting, but regardless, I feel like it's going to do well. Like Calabar is going to come back to Calabar that it used to be. It's going to put everything in place. And everything is going to be fine.
The essay to the former president Muhammadu Buhari on social investment, Marianne Wyers, explained that policy somersault hinders the growth of social investment in any government, adding that the state governments should ensure the continued remarkable policies and programs.
Yeah, it's very important, not just for Ekiti. One of the things, and also on the planning process, chairing the social cluster. One of the things we need to crack is how to continue policies and programs that have commenced. Again, sometimes even within the same administration, they get disrupted. So we need to lock them in and ensure that we sustain these issues. So I think the best way to do it is to use the laws, but also to get outside interests in. When it's just government, it's very easy. When you bring in the private sector, they actually keep an eye. If you bring in development partners, there's even a bigger fear of disrupting. So as many people working on the same issues helps the sustainability. We're using a funds manager because they will reinvest the funds. It's a deliberate thing to ensure that the monies are there. So monies that are coming from the private sector for our own project will be reinvested if they're not being used. So you just need to keep thinking out of the box to see how we can keep our eye on the ball and ensure that other people pass the baton, and we pass the baton on to other people who have the passion, the skills, and the wherewithal to be able to drive this.
Investigation has it that completing and continuing ongoing projects by any late administration connotes sustainable infrastructural development and economic growth for the state, as abandoned projects translate to wasted taxpayers' money and scarce resources. This usually slows down the tempo of development, while job and wealth creation will improve the fortune of the state within the next 4 years and beyond. For CRBC News Panorama, Blessing Bassey report.
The powerful wind that followed the beginning of the rains are causing widespread devastation across the country, and as a result, residents in various regions are taking stock of their personal and financial losses, especially residents of Ijibor community in Bekwarra local government area of Cross River State. The report. Some damage to trees and buildings and may or may not be accompanied by precipitation. The average wind speed during a windstorm is higher than 55 kilometers per hour. Strong winds and heavy rains caused by windstorm can lead to collapse of structures and scattering of debris, both of which can result in personal harm and fatality. Additionally, during the impact phase, these severe rains have been linked to drowning. Recently, this ugly incident occurred in Ijibor in Bekwarra local government area of Cross River State, where over 50 people's residents and business places were affected. Some people who were affected by the rainstorm said this is the first time this is happening after over 30 years.
This thing happened on Friday / Saturday. I am very surprised about it that because I haven't seen it like this before, and I don't really know what to say. The only thing I can say is just to glorify the name of the Lord, that we didn't lose a soul. It's just a disaster. If the government can help us for zinc, cement, planks, we will appreciate them, because there is nothing we can do more than that.
I have not experienced such a tragedy in my life, like since I was born. This was my first time seeing this kind of disasters. You know, it's not everybody that have the capacity to do everything on their own. So we really want the government to help us, to assist us in any way that they can assist. Some of us, we don't even have a place to sleep. Some of us are still sleeping under the rain, under the sun, the breeze, everything. We are still sleeping under it. So we want the government to help us. If there is any way they can assist some of us, let them help.
The member representing Bekwarra Bodo-Banliku Federal Constituency in the Federal House of Representatives, Right Honorable Lego Ijibor, visited members of the affected community and shared materials worth millions of naira. Some beneficiaries thanked Ijibor for the gesture, praying God to continually bless him.
I want to thank illustrious son Lego for this kind of material. I have not seen like this politically before. I'm seeing it for the first time. And I urge all the politicians to wear this mind and do what Lego is doing today to all the affected disasters and family.
I don't want this thing where you make it come again. No one time. Government they help me. I will tell them thank you.
I don't want the thing again. I say thank you.
Well, we attribute everything to God. Lego has tried his best as a member of parliament representing my constituency, and he has done what he can do. You understand? If the government can aid him to do more for us.
Others called on the state and federal government to come to their aid in these trying times.
The situation, what I'm going to say is, it is God that brought it, and God will carry it back. What anything government give, I'll take. Anything that is support me, I will take. And I'll thank you. Thank you.
We are crying for government to assist us. If in any amount or anything they want to assist us, let it be our helpers to one another. We are crying, we are weeping, we don't know what to do again. The communities and the people around the community are crying for assistance.
For CRBC News Panorama, I am Josephine Efanga. Nigerians woke up to a shock of fuel scarcity as queues were seen in some petrol stations in the early hours of Tuesday after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech on subsidy removal, causing motorists and petrol users scrambled to get petroleum. Demonstrations went round the metropolis.
The Nigerian government has for decades subsidized fuel and fixed retail prices of petroleum producers. The payment has, however, threatened the nation's fiscal position and impacted the government's ability to fund developmental projects across the nation. Notwithstanding, panic awakes Nigerians few hours after the declaration of fuel subsidy by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who said subsidy can no longer justify its ever-increasing costs in the wake of drying resources. This was surprising as people started panic buying just with the announcement of subsidy removal. In Cross River State, long queues of motorists were observed along the highways, dispensing fuel at the price of 700 per litre, where others could sell for 600 per litre. Comparing the prices, some drivers lament.
Now if you're buying 20 litres, you're talking about 10,000 plus. Then 20 litres was 1,000, 20 litres was 3,900. So I think before is fairer than now.
Well, I can't tell because I don't know the price now. If I hear the news, the current price. If I hear it.
Currently, as at Wednesday morning, few stations were shut down as they couldn't move on with the high price. While also speaking with few fuel attendants, they said they can't really tell what's happening, and petrol owners too are not certain of what the new government will do, aiming for the way forward. For News Panorama, Idon Sedesian reporting.
That is all we have on our lineup. We hope to be back same time next week. I am Josephine Efranga.